Hello and good morning to all. Welcome to your computer class. Well, till now we were discussing about our third chapter, that was types of software. In that chapter we have discussed till system software. But in today's class, instead of discussing the remaining concepts of that chapter, we will do the revision of our first chapter because from the next week you might have your exams. Well, for that test, your syllabus is your first chapter, that is computer fundamental. Fine. So it means you have to go through this chapter very carefully. PDF of this first chapter will be uploaded shortly in the school's website. In today's class, we will do the revision of this chapter so that we can summarize and cover all the concepts that we have discussed till now. So now let's start this class. Our first topic is convergence of technology. As I have taught you earlier, convergence refers to coming together of two areas or fields of technologies. It means convergence means combining or keeping two or more areas or fields of technologies together. Fine. So the technological convergence or convergence of technologies can be thought as the process by which existing technologies merge into new forms that bring together different types of media and application. Fine. In easy words, we can say that when we combine or when we add various technologies into a single technology, then it is termed as convergence of technology. Well, let's talk about a simple messaging app that we all have, that is WhatsApp. Well, in that WhatsApp we are using various technologies. Like from that WhatsApp only we can make video calls, we can make audio calls, we can share apps, we can share files, we can share videos, we can share songs. Fine. And along with that we can also perform instant messaging. It means that WhatsApp or this application is a type of convergence of technology because it is using various fields of technologies in that single thing. Fine. Now, the major technological convergence that are being converged to form newer convergent technologies include the following. First is computer technologies. Well, computer technologies include hardware and software that are the foundation of modern computer systems. Fine. Now, computer technologies also involves associated technologies crucial for computers such as processor, memories, network, operating system, etc. It simply means that when we combine various technologies which are used in computers to invent something new, then it is termed as the convergence of computing technologies. Then next we have communication technologies. Well, communication technologies are generally used to share data or to communicate with two or more individuals who are a part of a particular network. So in this type of technological convergence, we share or transfer various technologies or combine various technologies to perform this process of communication over net or by using internet or some radio signals. Fine. Now, communication technologies includes information transfer technologies such as communication media that can be wired or wireless, then internet, all the facilities that we have on internet, whether it is email, blogging, or all the other features that we have, then mobile devices, radio technologies, satellites, software for communication, etc. Fine. Then our next convergence is ICT. ICT stands for information and communication technology. Fine. Now, this ICT is a combination of two terms, that is IT and CT. IT stands for information technologies and CT stands for communication technologies. It means all the technologies which are generally used in communication as well as in the field of information are converged or combined in this type of convergence. Fine. Then next we have content technology. Now, generally all the technologies which are used or which can be used to work with the content or data is termed as content technology. Fine. Here this term content means the text, the matter, that media clips or the things that we are having. Fine. Now, the content technology cater to content driven fields such as print media, television and radio. Fine. The content technologies of today include 3D pictures, real-time broadcast, etc. Fine. For example, let's talk about a simple cricket match. In a cricket match, we can see various things on a display. Fine, we can see the runs, we can see various charts and graphs, we can see the animated pictures or clips. Fine, after every ball. So all these things can be termed as a content technology, which are generally used to create a proper broadcasting of a cricket match. Now, in this communication technology, well, in this chapter we have to discuss about this term communication technology first, and then we have to move to the fundamentals of this computer system. Fine. Now, in the communication technologies, we have these few popular terms, that is email, SMS, video conferencing, blogs and microblogging. Well, all these terms are homework for you all, so it means you have to write the definitions in the notebook, and then in the next turn we will discuss about all these terms. Well, if you have already written, then in that case you can take this work as assignment for you, and this time you don't have to copy this work from your previous notes. Fine, and for that you will get a separate assignment in the Google Classroom. Now, let's discuss about the term what is computer. Well, the word computer is derived from the word compute, which means to calculate. Fine. So it means this computer is a device which is generally used to calculate something. Fine. Well, our subject's name is computer, so you must have to know about this term, that what does it mean actually. Initially, when they were inventing these devices, their basic motto or their basic objective was to develop a device which can perform various calculations in a second or in a fraction of a second. That's why they made some high-end calculators in the initial stages. But later on, these high-end calculators were enhanced and then converted into the modern computers. It means the modern computers that we are using, these computers were generally built or designed for the communication purpose only. Now this term computer is derived from a term compute, which means to calculate. Fine. Generally, this computer is an electronic device that can perform millions of calculations, or it can execute millions of instructions in just a second. It can perform variety of operations in accordance with set of instructions called programs. Fine. So it means in computer we have various programs, and these programs run simultaneously so that we can perform a lot of operations. Well, in general term, we can say that a computer is an electronic device that can generally take inputs, process them, and then can generate output. Fine. Now, this computer is an electronic device, that's why it only works on electric signals, that is binary language. Now, if we just talk about this term computer, then this term computer has two basic components, and these two basic components are hardware and softwares. Fine. And these hardware and softwares generally combined together to form this device. But this hardware and software generally works on data to convert it into information. It means now we have to discuss about four terms in detail, that is hardware, software, data and information. Our first term is hardware. Well, the hardware of a computer is that part that you can touch or feel. Fine. It means your desktop, your monitor, your keyboard, mouse. Fine. CPU, everything you can touch or feel, that's why these are the hardware components. Whereas if we talk about software, then software is something that you cannot touch or feel. For example, the icons that we have in our display, you cannot feel these icons. Fine. You cannot touch those icons. Fine. All that you can do is by using a touchscreen monitor or touchscreen display, you can interact with these, but you cannot touch or feel all these softwares and icons. So fine. So it means these softwares are the set of instructions or programs that tell the computer what to do, but we cannot touch or feel them. Fine. The most important thing is you have to remember this term. You have to learn this term, that software is a set of program or set of instructions. Now let's talk about our next term, that is data. Well, generally these computers work on some unorganized raw values or raw facts which are not processed in nature. Fine. So it means all these unorganized raw facts and figures are processed or analyzed by computers, and all these unorganized data are termed as unorganized raw facts are termed as data. Fine. So it means, what is data? Something which is meaningless. Fine. Something which can be an input for our computer, it can be termed as data. Fine. And after the processing of that data converts into a meaningful format, and that meaningful form or format is termed as information. Fine. Now we have to discuss about the advantages of computer. Well, we will not discuss them about these in detail, so you have to read the slide by yourself. I will just give you a gist of this. Well, our first advantage is speed. Well, we all know that a computer is very fast in compared to a human. It can solve millions of instructions just in a second. Second, we have accuracy. Fine. Whether you are performing a variety of tasks in your computer, still your computer will generate all the results accurately. Then next we have storage. Well, in our computer we have an enormous amount of storage. It means we can easily store our files and data items in the computer's hard disk without any problem. Then next we have diligence. Fine. Even after working for hours, our computer can work continuously without taking a break. Fine. Then next is versatility. Well, we can use computer to perform variety of operations at the same time. Fine. And for every operation or for everything, it will give its full processing cycle, and that is the best thing about the computer. Then next we have power of remembrance. Fine. Now our computer generally has some storage. That storage can be primary also, or it can be secondary also. And just because of this storage, it can remember this data sometimes for long time and sometimes for short time. Now we have to discuss about some disadvantages. Fine. Now the first and the biggest disadvantage is, that is, no IQ. Well, it means in our computers there is no IQ. Fine. Then next we have no feeling. Well, computer is emotionless or knowledgeless. Fine. It cannot understand our feelings, and sometimes it cannot give you a better result or a better outcome depending on your inputs. Fine. Then next we have no power to make decisions. Well, generally this computer works on some set of instructions or some set of programs. That's why it cannot take any decision by its own. Then next we have dependent on electricity. Well, without electric current, a computer can never work. Now we have to discuss about a very important term, that is IPO cycle, and this IPO cycle will explain you about the working of computer system. Well, in short, this term IPO is used, and this term IPO stands for input, processing, output. Fine. It means first we will give the input, then that input will be processed and it will generate the final output, and after getting the final output, computer will take the next input, it will process it, and then it will give the next output, and this process will run continuously until or unless you will switch off your computer. Fine. Now our computer generally follows this IPO cycle for every kind of operation. Fine. Here these input devices are used to take the input from the user, and these output devices are used to give the output to the user. Fine. It means input devices are taking input from the user and output devices are giving it to the user. Then in between this input and output we have this processing part. So here our CPU works. Fine. Our CPU collects all the instructions or inputs which are given by the input devices. Then it has two components, that is CU and ALU, that generally works over the data. Fine. Inside this CPU basically we have three components, but only two components work over data, that is control unit and arithmetical and logical unit. Fine. And after a proper and accurate output, that data is given to the storage and then it is passed to the output devices. And this is how our computer works continuously. Now let's discuss about the functional components of our computer system. Well, mainly we only have four functional components. These four functional components are input devices, processing unit, output devices and storage. Well, just now these components that we are discussing, most of these components are hardware in nature. We are not discussing about the softwares. Fine. Now with the help of this diagram we have to discuss the flow of data in our computer system. Generally our computer works on a very simple cycle of IPO. Here this I is available, on this side we have this O available, and over here we have this processing part or P available. Generally, our user gives data by using these input devices. It means we are entering our data by using the input devices. Now, when this data will be given to the input devices, then that data will first be transferred into the CPU. Fine. And when that data is given to the CPU, first it is accepted and managed by CU. Fine. Now, listen this thing very carefully. It means whatever you are giving as an input, that input will be given to the CU for the initial assessment of data. Here it will read that data and analyze the type of operation. If you are performing any simple operation such as copy, paste, fine, or moving of files from one folder to another, or copy or paste of files or data items, deletion of data items, creation of folders, fine, all such operations are directly managed by the CU, fine. But all the operations where we have to merge something, where we have to add something, where we have to perform any mathematical or logical task, fine, it can be any decision task also, or it can be any simple task also. For that, this ALU is used by our control unit only, fine. And after that, output is generated, and then that output is pushed into the computer's memory, fine. And then from this computer's memory, that output is given to the output devices. Now again we will discuss this all, fine. Now let's see very carefully. Over this side we have this input device, this side we have the output device, and then in the center we have this CPU, fine. This input will take the input from the user, and then that input will be given to the control unit first, fine. Here this control unit will check the type of operation, that whether it is a arithmetical operation or any other simple operation. If it's a simple operation, then that CU will manage the simple operation. But if in case it is any kind of arithmetical or logical operation, then it will be given to the ALU, fine. Now, after the working of that processor part on data, that data is stored in the computer's storage, fine. Sometimes this storage can be temporary, or sometimes this storage can be permanent also, depending on the nature of data and types of operations that we are selecting on that particular data item. And then after the completion of this processing task, it means the generation of final result, that result is given to the output devices, and then from there our user generally gets the data, fine. चलो एक क्लास एग्जांपल लेते हैं यहाँ पे. Suppose we have to add two numbers. I have to add 1 plus 2, fine, let's take one more number, and 3. Now over this side, for this calculation purpose, first this data will be given to the control unit. Here control unit will first analyze this data, and then it will determine the type of operation. As you all are able to see, we have this plus sign over here. It means it's a arithmetical operation. But the most important thing and the most trickiest part that you have to keep in your mind, that is, our computer can only work on two numbers or two values at a time. It means at a time it can only add 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 1 and 3, fine. So what it will do, it will simply works on a concept of first come first serve. ठीक है, मतलब जो भी डेटा पहले टाइप करा होगा, that data will be given to the CU first for the processing, fine. What will happen is, first it will take these first two numbers, that is 1 and 2, fine. These numbers will be given to the ALU, and then ALU will work on these two numbers, and it will generate the result as 3. Well, here this result is not our final result, so that's why this result will be stored in the computer's temporary memory for the processing, fine. And then after keeping this result in the computer's temporary memory, it will take this next digit that is remaining, fine, and then this digit will be given to the computer's ALU, fine. अब क्या हुआ भाई, ये 3 जो था ये ALU के पास आ गया. Now our ALU will add this 3 with this data which was stored in this temporary memory, fine. And then these two 3s will give the output as 6, and that 6 will be your final output. But wait, अभी तक का ये output finalize नहीं हुआ है, so that's why this output will be first given to the computer's storage, fine. Then again CU will check for any further input. It means अगर इसके बाद भी हम लोगों ने कोई इनपुट जनरेट करा, तो ये फिर से 6 कहाँ चला जाएगा, टेम्परेरी स्टोरेज में चला जाएगा, और फिर उस ऑपरेशन को हम लोग 6 के साथ करेंगे. फाइन. And if there is no such operation after this, then this result will be given to the output devices by CU. Fine, it means memory से जाएगा CU में और CU से जाएगा फिर output devices में. So it's a very long but a very simple and interesting process. Now first we will discuss about this term input devices. So input devices are the devices through which we can input data in our computer system. It can be your keyboard, mouse, camera or scanner. अभी हम लोगों ने डिस्कस करा है अपने सेकंड चैप्टर में. Then next we have output devices, the devices through which you can see the output or you can get a output of your result is termed as output devices. Generally that output is in a human readable form. Fine. So these are monitor, printer, plotter and speaker. Fine. अब most important thing, जितना भी हम लोगों ने कंसेप्ट अपने फर्स्ट चैप्टर में नोट्स में लिखा है या इन वीडियोस में पढ़ा है, फाइन, नॉट ओनली इन दिस रिवीजन वीडियो बट प्रीवियस वाले वीडियो में भी, बेटा यू हैव टू रिवाइज ईच एंड एवरीथिंग फॉर योर एग्जाम्स. Fine. And your chapter is this chapter only, that is computer system. Fine. तो उसको लेके कोई भी confusion मत रखना अपने माइंड में बिल्कुल भी. Then our next term is storage. Well, storage is generally responsible for storing our data permanently or sometimes temporarily in the computer's memory. Fine. Then next we have processing unit. Well, this is a very important part of our computer system and it is also termed as CPU. And in our next class we have to discuss about this term in detail, but अभी हम लोग यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा review लेंगे इसका. So generally this processing unit or CPU is used for carrying out all the operations. Fine. It takes all the inputs from the user, it accepts all the instructions, and then depending on these inputs and instructions it performs the process of processing and then it generates the final output also. Fine. It has three components, only three components it has. Fine. That is ALU, CU and then primary memory or registers of CPU. Fine. Now this ALU is generally responsible for all the arithmetical or logical operations where we are performing plus, minus, multiply, divide, less than, greater than or comparison of values. Fine. It cannot only be the comparison of values or numerical values, it can be the comparison of string values also, data files also, fine, and various other components. Then next we have control unit. This control unit is generally responsible for controlling the instructions, or you can say that it generally routes all the inputs and outputs in our computer system. Then next we have primary memory. In this primary memory we have the internal memory of the computer also and then the registers also. Fine. Now this primary memory is that piece of memory that is either directly available in the computer's motherboard or that is directly attached to the computer's motherboard. Fine. It consists of computer's RAM, ROM, registers and so many other small little memories that can be your cache memories, L1 cache, L2 cache. Fine. So it was all about the revision of our first chapter. In our next class we have to conclude this chapter. So till then kindly revise this first chapter, comment down all your queries in the comment section and keep learning, stay safe, stay healthy and thanks for watching this video.